Hello and welcome to our channel where we explain technology simply. Today we'll be explaining what a networking device is. A networking device is a piece of equipment that helps establish a connection between computers or other devices so they can communicate with each other. Computers can't talk to each other unless they have something in common, and networking devices are what enable them to do so. The most common type of networking device is a router, which allows multiple computers to share access to a single internet connection, controlling how much bandwidth different users get and providing network security features. They come in many shapes and sizes, but most home users just need a small, inexpensive model that plugs into the wall socket and connects to your computers via Wi-Fi or Ethernet cables. It does this by connecting to your modem, which comes from your internet service provider. One alternative is to use a cable modem or DSL modem. However, this option is only available if you have a cable or DSL internet service. The main advantage of using a router is that it allows you to connect to the internet even if your computer doesn't have a built-in modem. Stay tuned for our upcoming videos on switches, bridges and hubs. We hope you enjoyed this video and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel where we explain technology simply. And you can also follow us on social media to get the latest updates. Additionally, routers are relatively inexpensive, costing only about $100 on average. However, there are some disadvantages to using a router. First, routers can be complicated to set up, especially if you're not tech-savvy. Second, routers require an internet connection, so you'll need to pay for internet service. Finally, routers can sometimes be hacked, so you need to take security precautions. Another alternative is to use a broadband router. However, this option is not as common as it used to be. A third alternative is to use a wireless router. However, this option may not be as secure as a wired router. Finally, you could use a mobile hotspot, but this option may not be as reliable as a router and it could use a lot of battery power. Some models are better than others depending on your needs, so it's important to read reviews before buying one. You should also make sure that the router is compatible with your internet service provider and has enough ports for all of your devices. The average cost of a router is around $100, but prices vary depending on the brand and features. If you're not sure which router to buy, you can ask a tech-savvy friend or family member for help or consult a professional. With the right router, you can ensure that your home network runs smoothly and reliably, and then creates its own local network which the devices on it can use to communicate with each other. First, a router allows you to connect to the internet even if your computer doesn't have a built-in modem. This is useful if you have an older computer that doesn't have a modem, or if you want to use a computer without an internet connection. Second, a router allows you to share an internet connection with multiple devices. This is useful if you have several computers or if you want to allow guests to use your internet connection. Third, a router allows you to create a local network. This is useful if you want to share files between computers or if you want to play games with friends over your local network. Fourth, a router provides network security. This is useful if you want to protect your network from hackers or if you want to control what your kids are doing on the internet. Fifth, a router allows you to control bandwidth usage. This is useful if you have a family member who is always streaming videos or downloading large files. By setting up a fair usage policy, you can ensure that everyone gets a fair share of the bandwidth. Finally, a router can make your internet connection faster. This is because a router uses a technology called packet switching to combine multiple data streams into one physical connection. This means that you don't have to pay for multiple internet connections, which can be expensive. And it also means that you get a more reliable connection, because if one connection goes down, you still have the other connections to fall back on. In simple terms, a router is like a traffic light at an intersection. The incoming internet connection is like a road coming into the intersection, and the computers on your network are like cars waiting to turn onto another road. The router makes sure that the cars or computers don't collide by coordinating who gets to go next. When one computer needs to send data, the router will let it use the internet connection. But if two computers want to send data at the same time, the router will make sure that they take turns so that they don't interfere with each other. This is how a router makes sure that your internet connection is fast and reliable. A good analogy for a router is a traffic light at an intersection. The incoming internet connection is like a road coming into the intersection, and the computers on your network are like cars waiting to turn onto another road. The router makes sure that the cars or computers do not collide by coordinating who gets to go next. When one computer needs to send data, the router will let it use the internet connection. But if two computers want to send data at the same time, the router will make sure that they take turns so that they don't interfere with each other. This is how a router makes sure that your internet connection is fast and reliable. Routers also have other important functions like enabling you to connect to wireless networks. There are many brands of routers available such as Asus, TP-Link, Netgear, and Cisco, among others. Let's look at some examples of how a router might be used. Now let's look at some alternatives to using a router. Now let's discuss some advantages and disadvantages of using a router. That was a quick overview of what a router is and how it works. If you want to learn more about networking devices,